"99% of your life is spent in an unconscious, autonomous state. Do you ever question why you do the things you do? You eat, you drink, you sleep, you breathe, you go through the motions of life, all unconsciously. All these actions and choices you make are basic, animalistic, and survival-based, unconscious repetitions. Can you think of all your best memories? They are clear in your mind, right? The moments you are truly the most happy are the times you are fully conscious, fully aware of yourself, your actions, and your state of mind. Think of the times in your life where your memory is a little blurry. You seem to have been sleeping. You might as well have been dead. The moments you walk through life unconscious are as close to death as you will be besides sleep. You know the saying, most men die in their 20s but aren't buried until 80? This is the harsh reality for most people, unconsciously drifting through life, waiting for something meaningful to happen. While in their minds dwells chaos, thus their reality is mirrored. I used to live like this, sleepwalking through life, so desperate for something to change. Thinking all the time, creating chaos in my mind until my reality became that of which was in my mind. In the book, The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, he says, every moment of your life, consciously or unconsciously, you are assuming a feeling. You can no more avoid assuming a feeling than you can avoid eating and drinking. All you can do is control the nature of your assumptions, meaning you cannot control the fact that you will have feelings and beliefs about the world around you and yourself. You can control the nature of those feelings and how you let them influence you, and thus how you act upon them. Because these thoughts and feelings are not passive, meaning they actively shape your reality. If you allow your assumptions to be dictated by your past experiences, fears, or external factors, you will manifest a reality that reflects those unconscious beliefs. But if you deliberately choose assumptions that align with the life you want, you will create a reality that reflects those desires. For example, if you unconsciously assume that you are unworthy of success, your actions and circumstances will reinforce that belief. However, if you consciously assume that you are already successful, you will naturally start thinking, feeling, and acting in ways that bring that success into your experience. Goddard's entire philosophy is built on mastering this ability to deliberately assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, because assumption, like breathing, is inevitable. The only real choice you have is what you assume. In his book, Neville Goddard speaks about a woman who came to him with difficulties working with her boss. She believed in her mind that she was being treated unfairly. She then admitted to creating arguments in her head, which unconsciously affected her attitude toward her boss, which then affected his attitude toward her. She then agreed to imagine only good interactions, and soon her reality changed so that she had experienced what she had imagined. Once you understand the power of your mind, you will not take kindly to destructive thoughts. You must swiftly expel anything negative, or else you end up creating these things in your reality. This is why it's so important to remind yourself to be fully conscious of your actions, but most importantly, your thoughts. The more time you can spend in a fully aware state allows you to recognize what burdens you are bringing onto yourself. Now, what I'd like to give you is an exercise that I use in order to become fully conscious and fully aware. It starts with you grabbing an object, preferably an object that's small. My go-to object was always something small like a lighter. And what you do is you just take a small object like this and you sit in complete silence with no distractions and you just stare at this object. You stare at it long enough to calm your mind. You know, nowadays, everyone's world is shaped by all the constant feed of information that they're getting. It's primarily from social media, all these devices. You want to get into a calm state, calm your mind, and you just focus on this one object to where it just grounds you back into reality, and you will feel different. You literally feel more aware. I was staring at this lighter for so long that it made me realize that my life is like that of the lighter. There's elements that create it to make it whole, that which I could relate to myself, like the spark that you need to create the flame. The spark I attribute to any ideas in my head, or that initial dream that I might have. The fuel that is needed to create the flame as well, I can attribute to my actions, and everything that I do in my life is like the fuel to the fire, because it's finite, because it will run out one day. And there's only so much you have that could be like your willpower, right? You need the fuel to, fuel the fire, of course. And the fire being that spirit, that burning sense of desire, that passion that you have, your life force, basically. And the more fuel you put to the fire, the bigger and brighter it'll burn, right? But like I said, you only have a finite amount of fuel until that flame goes out. And that's the end. That's the end of the lighter, and that's the end of your life. And every time you let that flame go out, by not focusing on that dream and desire, whatever it is, it gets harder and harder to start that flame up again. So even if, you let the flame go down a little bit, you must always try to never let it go out, but also try to add as much fuel as you can, because you want that thing to burn. You want it to burn bright, right? So please, make sure you are fully aware, fully conscious. Whenever you feel like you're not, do that trick, do that exercise, become fully aware. It will get rid of all your thoughts, your anxieties, your disbeliefs, your doubts, and you can focus on that spark, that goal, that desire that you have. Add fuel to that and burn bright.